let's call the first one equation 1. So we are referring to this one as equation 1. And then let's call this one equation 2. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is that from equation 2, we want to make y the subject. So from equation 2, y equal to 6 out of x. And then we substitute y is equal to 6 out of x into equation 1. So we substitute y equal to 6 out of x into equation 1. This is the equation 1 we're talking about. All right. So wherever we see y, we put 6 over x over there. So this is what's going to happen. So we're going to have x plus, so instead of the y, we're going to put 6 over x there, and then we equate to 0. Then after that, we're going to have an equation in terms of x. So here the LCM, because it becomes, there is a fraction over there. So the LCM is going to be our x. So when we multiply 2 by x, we're going to have x squared plus 6 equal to 6x. Then after rearrangement, you can write x squared minus 6x plus 6 equal to 0. So here we've gotten quadratic equation. So let's see, we have to solve the quadratic equation for the values of x. So we ask ourselves that since here the coefficient of the x squared term is 1, and then the x term is next 6, and then the constant term is 6. Now we ask ourselves that, is there any value, when you multiply the 1 here, and then the 6 here, we have 6. Then we ask ourselves, is there any pair or factors of that 6 that when you add you to give you negative 6? Clearly, there is none. Okay, so when it happens like that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make use of the general quadratic formula, which is x equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And how do we get our 2, the a, b, and c? So this is what's going to happen. So the equation that we are given is x squared minus 6x plus 6 equal to 0. And then we compare that with the general quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now when you compare these two, these two equations here, you realize that the a here corresponds to the coefficient of the x squared term, and then the b here corresponds to the coefficient of the x term, and then the c here will correspond to the constant term. All right, so based on that, you can see that when you compare the a equal to 1, b is the same as next 6, and then c equal to 6. So we're going to substitute these values here, a, b, and c, into this general quadratic equation, this general quadratic equation here. Okay, so wherever we see a, we put 1 there. Wherever we see b, we put negative 6 there. Whenever we see c, we put 6 over there. All right, so let's see what happens. So we're going to have x is equal to negative. Already there's a negative there, so b is next 6. We bring in our plus or minus equal to b squared, and b squared is next 6. Sorry, e is next 6 minus 4 times a is 1, and then c is also 6. All out of 2 times a, which is 1. Now, when you simplify further, this is what's going to happen. Remember, this negative here and the negative here is going to give us positive. So you're going to have 6 here. We bring in our plus or minus, and then what is inside the bracket, under the square root, sorry, we're going to have 36 minus 24 all over 2. Now, what's inside the bracket, under the square root, is going to give us root 12. And root 12 could be simplified. Root 12 can be simplified as 6 plus or minus root 12 is the same as 2 root 3. And then we divide this one by 2. In case you are wondering why root 12 is the same as 2 root 3, remember root 12 is the same as root 4 times root 3. Okay, and then root 4 is the same as 2 root 3. All right, so take note of that. That is where we are getting our distance from. All right, so now what's going to happen here is this. Now we can see something here that x is the same as, you can factorize 2 out, leaving us with 3 plus or minus root 3 all out of 2. So these two will cancel these two, leaving us with s equal to 3 plus or minus 3. Okay, so what basically this means is that we have two values of x, which is going to give us 3 plus root 3 or 3 minus root 3. Okay, so let's put in the value of x into any of the equation. So I prefer to use equation 1 because that one will be more simpler to work with. So we're going to substitute these values here, the values of x here, this one, and then this one. Remember, these two values are for x. So we're going to substitute this one into equation 1. So substitute s values into equation 1 in terms. So what is going to happen here is this. So let's take for the first one, when s is equal to 3 plus root 3. So that means y is going to be 6 minus 3 plus root 3. Remember, from equation 1, when you make y the subject, y is going to be 6 minus x. Take note of this. 6 minus x from equation 1. 6 minus x. Y is equal to that. So when you do substitution, this is what's going to happen. So we have y equal to 6 minus this. And then when you simplify, we're going to have 6 minus 3 minus root 3, which will give us 3 minus root 3. And then we take the second part. So for x is equal to 3 minus root 3, y is going to be 6 minus 3 minus root 3. And then we're going to have 6 minus 3 plus root 3. Then eventually we're going to have 3 plus root 3. So this is going to be the points for both x and y values. So for the first part, when x is 3 plus, when x is 3 plus 3 root 3, oh sorry, the y value is 3 minus root 3. Y value is 3 minus root 3. And then when x is 3 minus root 3, y value is 3 plus root 3. So basically, this is what's going to happen for the x and y values. Remember, it has two values here. So let's take a closer look at the graphical representation and see how this one fits in there. Thank you very much.